Our presenters for the clothing and textiles session are Sarah and Elizabeth Lawrence. And Elizabeth, well, Sarah probably is too. They're both 4-H volunteers from Meigs County, but Elizabeth is a volunteer who still lives in Meigs County. Sarah is currently the camp director, manager, executive director, and manager at Cantor's Cave 4-H camp. And both of them have judged at State Fair for our clothing projects before. So we're really glad that they're able to join us and give some ideas for doing well and succeeding with your clothing projects. So I'm going to turn it over to Sarah and Elizabeth.
Thanks, Joe. If you can either chat to us or if you can unmute yourself and tell us what clothing project you are taking, that'd be excellent so we know. But we're going to start with some of the basic stuff. Christy already kind of covered the beginning part of your book, so the project guidelines and your different activities that you need to do. That's really important, and make sure that you know what your project is asking of you, whether it's completing all 15 activities, or what kind of garment you need to make, because there's certain projects that you need to make just one piece of an outfit, or maybe you need to make the pants and the shirt or a jacket. It really depends on each project, so make sure you're paying attention to that and that you have your outfit in the right project. Sadie was unmuted there. Did you want to tell us what project you're taking, Sadie?
For my clothing project, I am taking Designed by Me.
Okay, awesome.
That's a great project. You're going to really like that one.
Olivia or Maddie?
I'm taking loungewear.
Loungewear, awesome. Olivia?
I'm taking So Fun.
Oh, awesome. I have the So Fun book in front of me right now. So, definitely, I guess. So just thinking over that. So one of the things, we're kind of going to skip to the back of the book for a minute, because one of the most important things with every clothing project you take, no matter if it's So Fun at the very beginner level or all the way until you get to some of the older projects, you should always know the 7 clues of fashion. That is in every sewing project book. You'll have that. And the 7 clues in the So Fun book are on page 33. I don't know if I can, oh no, I can't show you my paper. Just kidding. But that's fashion, design, fit, construction, grooming, posture and poise, and personal qualities. And those are usually, I know at the state fair, these are all things that you're given awarded points for at your judging. So when we are judging a project, we're looking for the fashion, design, fit, construction, your grooming, posture and poise, and personal qualities. And that's probably how your project is judged at your county as well, at least part of it.
So if you memorize those now, you will have those and you'll get extra points, I promise you, through every project you ever take, whether it's construction or whether you're taking a shopping project. They are going to ask you for what the 7 clues are. They may say just give us 2, but by the time you've taken 3 or 4 projects, they're going to want you to know all 7 clues. So, or 7, what do they call it? They used to call it 7 clues. It's the total look is what they call it now.
7 clues to a total look.
So you'll find that usually on your back page or towards the end of your project, and you're going to judge yourself according to those 7 clues. So just go ahead and memorize those and you'll be way ahead of the game.
Another important thing in your project book, no matter if it's a sewing project, a livestock project, any project book you have, there's going to be words that are bold in there, and they're also located in the back of your book at the glossary. And those are going to be important things to know, because that's where every question that you're asked, whether it's at your county or your state fair judging, next to the question that tells us what page of your book it's from. So everything you need to know about your project is in your project book. So those are good areas to know. So in So Fun, there's it tells you there's the different tools for sewing, and the highlighted word on that page is thimble. So we may ask you what a thimble is used for, or to tell us about that. And there's different questions that are constructed using the different bold words in your project book, and there's also a glossary that'll tell you more about those words in the back of your book. Does anyone have any questions yet? Or maybe questions things we haven't discussed but you want to ask us about your project?
Has anyone started their project yet? Clothing projects take a lot of time, so.
I haven't
Yes.
started mine. Michelle needs to help me with it, and I got to make sure that I have the right clothes for it.
Perfect. Yeah, and sewing is something that you're probably going to need a project helper, especially with sewing, because they can be a lot of help, because sewing's not a skill that everybody has. So when you have someone that can help you, it can be really beneficial.
I've actually completed mine. I just have to fill out the book.
Awesome.
And that's a really important part. You have to fill out your book, because that's something that your judge is looking for to make sure that you used it. And also being able to tell them what steps you took to construct your outfit or embellish your outfit is really important too. Because if you made an outfit, that's great, but I also need you to know, have learned the skills and the knowledge to tell me how you've done that.
Okay.
Awesome. What did you make, Maddie?
I made a pair of pants and a shirt and a robe.
Awesome.
Oh, wow.
Olivia, I think you were going to talk next.
I started my sewing project and I'm
All right.
getting started on activity 10.
Awesome. Doing good.
And
There's
most-
a lot of parts to the sewing project.
Most of the sewing projects are going to ask you to complete most of the activities, if not all of them. So that's something a little different with some of the other projects. It may tell you, pick 2 or pick 3 activities. The sewing projects, because it takes so many steps to make an outfit, you're going to need all those different skills to make your outfit. So that's why I ask you to complete so many of them.
And it's good for the person that did the loungewear that you did construct a robe, because it it's not always clear. In some counties, they do require you to make an outer garment. Some they do not. But when you get to the state fair, they almost always want you to have a robe or something that you could wear to the door. If the mailman knocked on your door, that you could go to the door and answer it. So that's very good that you made a robe to go over your outfit. So that's very good.
Well,
Thank you.
we know there won't be judging at the state fair this year for clothing. So, but I have been told, and Joe, correct us if we're wrong, you can take your project again next year. So if you're completing a project this year and you want to compete to go to state fair, you can take it again next year. So that's something I would definitely recommend doing if you want to compete at the state fair. And that's always a really good opportunity to go and see what other people are making, get ideas for when you want to take a different project, and to compete with some of the best kids from around the state of Ohio. Do you have any other questions about sewing projects for us, or other general projects, interviewing?
Doesn't it perfect?
Go ahead, Sadie.
Does the project what you make have to be perfect?
No, it doesn't have to be perfect.
We want you to make it. That's the important thing. We don't want it to look like it came off a runway. We want you to make it, and not my first project I still have hanging in my closet. You probably still have your first project. They weren't perfect for sure.
Yeah, I think that's definitely something with the sewing project. It's designed so that you can keep taking sewing projects and learn more skills and practice those, and as you get older in 4-H, so that you can make maybe a more complex project. When I was a 4-H'er, I took Sew Fun. It was called a different thing then because I'm getting old now, but I took Sew Fun and made a skirt. Which, do people even wear skirts anymore? I don't know. I don't
It's
even
like
know.
a short and a skirt together.
Yeah. And then by the time that I was done with 4-H, I had made a wedding dress. So I think it's all about practicing those skills and challenging yourself to do something different.
Well, and if you'll remember, your very first project, you also made a hat with your skirt.
Oh yeah, and it didn't fit at all. It was very
And
bad.
you made 2 or 3 of them and kept cutting it down. So it was a pattern that was in the book, and she had to make it 2 or 3 times to get it to where she could even wear it. So I think we fluffed up your hair to make sure that it would fit on your head. But those are the kind of things you have to do, and it's okay to make 2 or 3, copies or 2 or 3 projects to get it complete.
So, Sarah and Elizabeth, when you guys are judging at the state fair, what kind of things are you guys looking for as judges? I know, different projects have different requirements, as we heard earlier in the front of the book. But what are, other than the 7 clues for the total look, what are some of the things that you guys look for when you're looking at what the kids have made, and when you're interviewing them? What kind of things do you want them to tell you and show you?
A lot of times it's just the confidence of the child. They may not have the very best project there. We see some beautiful projects at the state fair, but it's how much they know and how comfortable you are talking to the judge. So if you have a chance to interview with someone ahead of time, I do recommend you do that, even if it's just an older sibling or a neighbor, just to go in and shake their hand and go through introducing yourself and telling them about your project. Take the lead with it. You're the one that knows the most about the project. Don't wait for the judge to say, well, how did you do this? Go in and, present yourself. Let them know that you do know what you're talking about and that you did make the project. That's really important. We do look at fit. We have everybody stand up in a line, and we'll look to see, is it too tight somewhere, or is one leg longer than the other? And of course, in your beginning projects, you might have that a little bit. They're not going to be perfect, and that's okay. Being polite is a big thing. If you shake your judge's hand at the beginning and then at the end, thank them for coming and doing it. They're all usually volunteers. They don't get paid to do the interviews. So, thank them for their time. That's important. We're going to be looking at shoulder seams. We'll look to see that the arm lengths are the same, the shorts are the same length, those kind of things. Those are all important. How do your colors go together? You want everything to go together. You want to make sure your outfit's complete and that your book's complete. That will make the difference in, who's going to stand out. Once you get to the state fair, everybody's already won at their local level, so you're all winners. Once you get to the state fair, we're picking out the top 10% of kids to go up for the big awards. So just by going and being there, that is a huge honor to do that. So just be yourself. Don't be too nervous. Be yourself. You know the project. You know what you've done. So just make sure that you tell your judge about it. Do you have any other tips in the state fair?
I kind of missed some of yours.
I know. I'm sorry.
Sorry. I definitely answer those questions. Tell the judge what you liked, maybe what you didn't like about the project, things you would change. I know always the best interviews are questions where I can ask someone a question and they can keep talking about it instead of like a yes or no answer. Because it can be hard to gauge if you know about your project, if you're just answering kind of yes or no or one word answer. So definitely elaborate and tell them what you know and what you've learned from your project.
It was just state fair, what you do once you get there. Do you guys have any additional questions or concerns? I hope that it's an enjoyable experience for you guys and that you want to keep sewing. That's really important. It's a great skill to have. Do you have any questions about maybe what you could do for community service or some of the activities that are in the beginning of the book? If you've made masks, that's a good thing you can put down, that you've made and
Yeah, that's a
donated
good
masks.
idea.
You can put that down. Sadie, did you have something?
I was thinking maybe when I get better at sewing, I could like make some like clothes for people who don't have that much.
That would be a
Good
wonderful idea. Very good.
Yeah, and like Christy said in the beginning, don't forget to write this down, that you attended this tonight. That's a really good activity to put down. And if you were to take this project again next year, so maybe you complete your book this year during the coronavirus time, but you want to get judged on it next year if things are different, make sure to add additional activities, things you completed in 2021. Add to that book. Don't be afraid to make notes, or I know some people will even add an additional slip of paper in there so you could write down some other leadership or community service activities you did if you wanted to take this project again next year.
And if you're taking the loungewear, you may want to make another garment to go with your
Slippers.
with your outfit. You might want to do some slippers or something else that would go along with your robe and your pajamas. So,
How many of you are taking a sewing project for the first time? Anybody?
I'm taking this project for the first time.
So it looks like Sadie and Olivia, you're sewing for the first time.
Yes.
Maddie,
My grandma was a great sewer and she tried to teach me a lot, but when I was younger, I didn't have a long attention span. So
that's true for most of us. Some of us still have that problem.
So Maddie, how long have you been sewing?
This is gonna be my 3rd year.
Awesome.
And what's your favorite thing about sewing, Maddie?
Surging.
Searching.
Oh, that's a good one. I didn't learn to serge until I was at the very end of my 4-H career. So I was a teenager by the time I learned to serge.
That's good that you have that skill already.
I think that's something that often is asked at State Fair. What new skill did you learn with your sewing project? So think about maybe maybe you're taking your first sewing project and the skills you're learning right now, and what maybe you want to try next time. Do you want to try serging? Or I know Sadie is taking an embellishing project, right? I think so. Designed by me. So then maybe you want to take a construction project, or maybe you'll take a shopping project. So there's always different things that you can learn with 4-H. Or sewing projects. I know something that maybe when you're getting judged in your county or at the state fair, they might tell you things that you can improve on. So maybe your outfit, you didn't get the button sewed on just right, or your hem's a little crooked. I think it's important to take that as constructive feedback. Don't think that you didn't do a good job, but they're just trying to help you practice on what you could do better next time if you were going to take another sewing project, or make that same outfit again. Maybe you want to make another pajama set in a different pattern, just to have it home. So don't get discouraged by that, and think about how you can use that in the future.
And that's hard for any of us to take. It's
Oh, yeah.
constructive criticism. So, and sometimes you are at your county judging and they might say, that looks a little too tight. Maybe you should let that out. And then when you get to state judging, they say, oh man, that's a little loose. It should be a little tighter. So sometimes you get varying opinions, but everybody has their own opinion. And
as long as you like your project,
as long as you like it, that's what's most important. And that you're going to wear it. Don't make it and hang it in your closet. Wear it. We have a few things hanging in our closet, don't we, Sarah?
Yeah, just a few.
Do you guys have any other questions?
How much time do we have left, Joe?
We still have about a little over 7 minutes. So I was trying to think, so how about, what would you guys recommend for, and I'm not sure, every county's a little bit different in how they do their project judging. So that's why I keep asking Sarah and Elizabeth kind of how things are at the state fair, even though I know we don't have state fair this year. But that is something that if you win at your county level, then you could go on to the state fair and exhibit. So how about, do all of your counties do a style review or have you model your clothes in some way? And then after you guys let us know what your county does as far as modeling or style review, then Sarah and Elizabeth, would you guys give some pointers on what they would need to think about when doing that modeling and that style review portion of their clothing projects?
Nadia, I think you're ready to go first. You're already unmuted for us, so tell us what your county does.
Yeah, ours does a style review, and like we also model them and that thing.
Olivia, this is your first year, so you may not know. Do either of you know?
Mom said I'm gonna have to model it.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm gonna have to model or not, but if Raven trusts me enough to have a needle around her, I'm gonna use her as like kind of a mannequin, kind of.
Oh boy.
Since I don't have a real one.
So for modeling or a style review, that means you're probably going to be on a stage to show off your outfit that you made. And they definitely do that at the state fair. There's a really long runway with lots of people watching. But I think the important part of that is some tips. Relax and have fun and smile. Don't be nervous. And that's something totally different. None of the other projects do you have to get up in front of a bunch of people and model and have everybody looking at you. So that can be kind of intimidating, especially if this is the first time you've done it. But definitely with any project, especially watch the older kids. Usually the projects have to go, usually your senior projects go before your younger projects. So if you have the opportunity, watch others and see how they look on stage and try to match what they do. And if your county has like a fashion board, I was on the state fashion board, so those would always be people you could go to and say, hey, I'm not sure how to model. Could you show us? If you could see my feet, I would get up and do it for you, but we're kind of limited on what you can see here. So, but I think just relax and have fun is a really good pointers for that.
Another thing you want to think about is, what accessories do you need for your outfit? Especially if you're modeling in front of people. You really don't want to wear flip-flops because as you walk across the stage, they're going to be making noise and you might slip in them. So it's always better to wear tennis shoes or
Something
a shoe
appropriate for your outfit.
Yeah, a shoe appropriate for your outfit.
So for loungewear, you probably can wear slippers, but so fun, slippers might not be an appropriate shoe. Maybe you are going to wear tennis shoes, but something that matches and that you're comfortable in. If you're not comfortable walking in it just around your house, then you're probably not going to be comfortable walking on stage in them.
Everything I make is going to have a little bling or a lot of bling on it because I like bling.
That's good. Always make it so you like it. If that's your style, then go for it.
Yeah, don't make anything you really don't like or you're not going to wear again because there's no point in that. You want to make sure that you like your outfit. So that's the most important thing. But yeah, you want to look at your outfit, put it on in front of the mirror, try different accessories with it because an accessory can make your outfit, which that could be a necklace, that could be a scarf, a hat, a purse. You look at that and make sure everything matches. It's just really important. If you've got a sporty type outfit, you don't want to wear a blingy purse necessarily, maybe, or just make sure everything goes together.
And that's one of your clues of fashion too. Fashion. Make sure your is something new in color, fabric, trim, style, and/or accessories. So that's one of your clues of fashion, and one of the ways they'll be out evaluating your outfit and seeing how well you did with your project. Another thing that I just thought of that's really important is make sure your outfit's clean. Maybe you don't wear it before you go to the state fair or get your project judged. If you made a soccer outfit, let's say, you probably shouldn't go to soccer practice and wear it a bunch before you go get it judged, because it's not going to look as clean and nice that they're looking for. So make sure you take care of that garment and don't use it probably before you get it judged. That would be my advice. You want to make sure it smells nice. No weird smells.
I had a niece that I helped make a white sundress, and she ended up sitting in
I think it's
a funnel
funnel
cake
cake, yeah.
at the state fair before she got judged. So that was heartbreaking. They got a lot of it cleaned up, but still she had to go in and model because that's what she had taken to wear. So, you know, they always have somewhere for you to change. You know, carry your outfit with you, maybe put a trash bag over it in case it's raining or something. We've dropped stuff in a mud before we went to be judged. So,
Yeah.
you know, just be really careful and try to make the best presentation. Funnel cake on your butt's not the best thing sometimes. So,
Or sitting in the car, because a lot of us don't live right next to the state fair or where they're judging where you're going to get judged. So maybe taking it in a bag or hanging it up nicely in the car is the best way to get it there so you're not wrinkled before you get judged. Is a good idea. But another, whether it's a sewing project or any other type of project, make sure to introduce yourself to the judge and thank them for your time when they're done. Everybody that judges you is likely a volunteer. So it always makes an impression with me when somebody thanks me for my time and being there to talk about their project with them.
Well, we are down to under 30 seconds. So anybody have a question quick before we get kicked out?
thank you guys for coming.
Yeah, we really enjoyed talking to you about sewing projects tonight, and we hope you all keep sewing.